And yes, there are even certain wines that gives you more returns than, you can buy certain types of wine, and those wine, as they age, the value is going higher and you're making crazy money on it. So there are a lot of stuff like that, like just like the wristwatch you talked about, which is true. There are certain wristwatch, crazy, very expensive, but they are collectibles. They keep going higher and higher by the day. However, the reality is that people who are going to real estate investment differs. What they are targeting is different. A lot of people in Nigeria cannot even afford property in Nigeria, talk less of you saying they should afford property in Dubai or in US or in UK. Those who already can afford that are doing that. I know a lot of my clients who are based in Nigeria, they have several properties they bought from me here in Dubai, properties they bought in the UK or in the US, and they are getting higher returns than you are probably getting on your type of wristwatch, because you also have to value how much did you put to buy that wristwatch. With right knowledge, with right information, you buy that same type of property in Dubai. The value is going up. Not just that, you're also earning foreign exchange on a yearly basis from the people who are renting the property from you. No matter what happens, a house is a house. It will always maintain value. There might be a little drop. Look at all other investment right now. Crypto, it's gone to pieces. And I said it to many people then too. I said, look, there's nothing wrong doing high risk investment in crypto. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's just foolish, right? So there are certain investments that may not give you all the returns in this world, but they are tangible. A house is tangible any day, anytime, no matter what happens. Right? A crypto can give you return this high today, tomorrow, not so much. Even the wristwatch may have this huge level of value. Something can happen to the brand. They may have used a child, like what happened to Balenciaga, and before you know it, everybody's attacking that brand. And before you say Jack Robinson, the value is coming down. But a house is a house. We always need a house. It's the bedrock of every economic activity. And that's why we always say that it's called real estate, because the only type of investment that is real, it's tangible. So for me, would be my take about the wristwatch and that. You're right in your analysis, but I think, again, we're in a day where people just love controversy, and I'm sure they're happy you make more money, so that's okay. But, how do you... Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Before you go any further, you have perfect Dubai. Right now, a lot of people, like you say, do not have access to investing in the UK, the US, or Dubai.
Yeah.
They are misinformed with regards to property. A house is a house. It will always hold its value. Yes. But when it's not growing in value, can we call it an asset? I'm talking about the houses in Nigeria. Here's my question. What type of houses are investment? Because people go and show their village house with 12 bedrooms. It's not.
It's not. It's not. You're right. You're right.
Consider it an asset. A 8 block of flats in Banana Island, that's an asset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
You buy that is grass and swamp beside
the
port that now develops, that is an asset. But I want you to explain this clearly. I don't want to be vague in their understanding, because if you take wristwatch against house, house always seems to win. But if you house in the village against Rolex, Rolex is better.
Absolutely. You are very right. Remember the last time I came on your show, I said, always get the knowledge of investment before even the investment itself, right? So that you understand, for example, even the fact that property is losing value in Nigeria, not in Banana Island. The property in Banana Island last year that is going for 450 million. Right now, it's going for over $1 billion in the same Banana Island. They don't even sell in Naira. As dollar rise, in Banana Island, it rise. They sell in dollars in Banana Island. Our office is in Banana Island. I live in Banana Island when I'm in Nigeria. So the truth is that it depends on where. Location, location, location. When it comes to property, you have to understand that location is king. The location where you're buying the property determines the level of value, the level of appreciation that you're going to get. And you're very correct. I've often said this to my Igbo brothers, who, if you do not build a house in the village, you are not man enough, or you are not even important. And I say to them, I say, those things are jokes. The people you are comparing yourself with is a Cosmos Maduka, who owns how many properties in Lagos. Now, he can go back to his village and build a whole estate, and it will be his one house. So, first of all, build houses for investment before you go back to the village and show off. Okay? And this is one important thing we must learn. A lot of us get carried away with those who have arrived and how they are living their life. There's where they started from. These people prioritize investment first. Okay? You're a poor man, you are now saying, oh, anybody that doesn't invest in the village. All the guys you are comparing with, they even own Lagos. I mean, if you check investment of Igbo guys in Lagos, it's probably way, way higher. So don't compare yourself and say, I must build something in the village. If I don't build something in the village, I'm not important. Life is in phases, men are in sizes, live your size per time. Start your real estate investment by focusing on the types of investment that will give you returns, that will give you what we call cash flow. After you build those kind of investment, you are making so much money on a consistent basis. You can now go back to your village and show off and let them know you have arrived. And let them know you are the number one of Uguala village. That's okay. But do not confuse show off and even if, I don't care even if it's 20 bedroom in your village, to the value and returns you can get in Banana Island or Eko Atlantic or even in Bejuleki because of the Dangote refinery and things like that. So location is king. And you're very right. Like I said, a lot of your arguments, if people can just listen to the full conversation, they will see the sense in it. But again, media nowadays picks a chunk, blast it everywhere.
They picked a 3-minute chunk and allowed people who are ignorant to, what do you call it, to start discussing it.
By the way, I had a lot of people during the Global Wealth Festival say, I've never, heard that they freeze one-on-one, and I so enjoyed. I've always had bad impression, but meeting him, hearing what he's saying, everything makes so much sense. I said, well, I think that's the issue between the rich and the poor. The rich always investigate. The poor just takes the general narrative.
That was one of my points. One of the things that separate the rich from the poor is the poor never see the big picture.
Absolutely.
Inside every scenario, there is a big.
Yes.
If you take house and watch, the first thing that comes to your mind, you can't live in a watch. So house looks more valuable. But the house where, now you mentioned something. My argument was, when I bought my house, I converted dollars to Naira and lost value. But you see, the house in Banana Island and in Ikoyi are already hedged to the dollar. It is 200,000. If the Naira likes, let it be 1,000 Naira for a dollar.
Exactly.
It is the same.
Exactly.
Against a kilogram of stone. 3 stones might be 1 kilogram, and 2 million feathers might be 1 kilogram. But a kilogram.
Very true.
The dollar is a standard. When you say $200 or $200,000, you hedge the price on it. If the land drop in Naira value, if the land increase in Naira value, as long
it
as
doesn't matter.
Dollar constant.
Yeah.
So houses in Banana Island and Ikoyi are in investments, but you see, the poor don't see that big picture.
Not at all.
house in Ajegunle, no bias. It's not like it's a you. But if you can't hedge it internationally, you will realize that when you were buying the house, you paid a certain number of business class tickets.
Yeah.
Now, you want to sell the house, you will not be able to buy those same number of business class tickets.
Very true. Very true.
Very important. See the picture. Don't jump into an argument. Especially when the person you want to argue with is bringing facts. I know how much I paid for my house. And I know how much dollar was then and how much dollar is now. And I'm doing the math and showing you, and then you're arguing with me. Where do you So that is a very valid point. Thank you so much, Steve. I want to ask another question. What are the different ways to go into real estate? Do people start by buying land or by getting houses? What's your advice?
Beautiful question. So it depends, again, it depends on your budget. Oftentimes, it's neither here nor there. Your budget is important. If you have up to $350,000 to invest, I would say, in fact, bring that money to Dubai and come and buy some of the properties I have available here. But not everybody has that kind of money. So you probably have way lesser than that. And you still want to be an investor. And it's always not wise to keep your money in the bank, except in the case of maybe you are putting it is in dollars. But in reality, even if it's in dollars, you are better off investing it internationally. Because what has happened globally is that there's been inflation. US is experiencing inflation that they've never had in more than 40 years. So even the dollar is also losing what? The British pound against the dollar has fallen to, probably is now 1.2 to $1. Meanwhile, it used to be 2 point something British pounds to $1. So there's global inflation. And leaving your money in the bank is just not wisdom. You are making the banks richer. No rich man does that. You will be shocked that people like Dangote and a lot of the wealthy guys you know don't have that much money in the bank. When they say they are billionaires or they are rich people, it's analysis of their assets, that if you are to sell the asset these people own, is worth billions, not as if that they've kept. That's why Elon Musk will still go and borrow money to buy Twitter. A lot of people don't understand those, if I had to share some of his Tesla stocks, right, to go and buy Twitter. So you will probably be wondering that they said the man is worth over $200 billion. Twitter was being purchased for just $40-something billion. Yet there was so much borrowing here, so much looking for Saudi Arabia investors to gather money just to buy a $40-something billion property, Twitter. But that was because the so-called rich people are rich in assets that they own. Asset that they've secured. So for me is, if you are not too liquid, start with land banking. Okay, start buying small. Today you buy 5 million watt. Tomorrow you buy 10 million watt. Tomorrow you buy 20 million watt. Gradually, and again, get knowledge. Don't just, because if you go and buy in the village, you won't appreciate 5 years from now. The land is looking at you. But if you go and buy in Bejuleki or in Ekpe, because of the government project, the refinery, the free trade zone, the expansion, the airport they are putting there, the value is going up. And Lagos is even unique. Lagos is projected to be the largest city in the world by the year 2100. Nigeria is going to be having a population of over 350 million people by the year 2050. And so what drives real estate value is population growth. As more people are moving, insecurity is also contributing to that. So the level of insecurity that is happening in the north is increasing the value of property in Abuja. The number of insecurity issues across the southern part is increasing how many people are moving to Lagos. So a time will come, and I've said this, in the next 50 to 100 years, even if all you have is 500 square meter in Lagos, it will be worth billions of naira, by the virtue of population growth and the pressure. And the land is not increasing. So you have to understand that dimension, but you can play real estate globally. You don't need to localize it, particularly when you have, enough FX or you have enough resources. But the rule is make sure your money is working for you. Make sure you're investing. Make sure you're putting into something. You can't keep folding your hands and expect to become wealthy. Everybody who's building wealth took action. Some of the properties I bought years ago, okay, I left it there for years. And from value of 1.5 million is going for over 15 million today. One from, bought it at 3.5, the value is going for between 25 to 35 million today, right? In a space of just 2 years. So, but we knew where we were buying, we had done analysis, we knew the project that is coming to that area, we've analyzed that, and we make sure we got in the right location, that there will be a lot of pressure in terms of population growth. So, for me, that would be my answer. But it's also important beyond just buying that you buy it right. Because if you buy a land and Monile will come and start chasing you and giving you headache, you've still lost all the entire money. So don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Make sure that you are dealing with professionals, you're dealing with people with integrity to help you and support you in the process of acquiring wealth. I always say this, that it's poor man that is always scared to use his ATM on the internet. And then you ask, how much exactly is in that ATM? Okay, exactly how much? Because people have a whole lot of money on their card and doing business. They're using that same card to do transactions all over the world. So don't carry this poverty mentality where you don't trust anybody. And because you don't trust anybody, you are not taking action. You are not building wealth. Like Daddy Freeze is telling you. Before he's now analyzing between watch and his house, he owns both. So don't compare. He owns the house, he owns the watch, but he owns. So don't even compare. So don't come and say that the free says, the watch appreciates higher than the house. Okay, you don't even own the house. Okay, own the house first. Then try and buy the type of watch he's also talking about. Then begin to compare. But situation where you are not anywhere. Okay, I always say this, that when you're listening to people, use your wisdom, use your church mind, right? You don't compare. Some people can there's a luxury success afford you. You can begin, I now can begin to tell you that, Daddy Freeze, I don't like Burj Khalifa. There's not enough play area for kids. And that's because I'm already there. Right? You have to be there before you two now carry your bat and say, I don't like Burj Khalifa. Okay, you've never even seen it. Talk less of live there. Today now I tell people, I say, I don't like Banana Island. There's only one exit from Banana Island. If there's a crisis. Exactly. If there's crisis now in Banana Island, it's going to be chaotic. Because, entering any estate, you should have multiple exits. But again, it's because I'm living there that I can begin to analyze, which one is good or which one is bad.
So, let me also go into this question. You're talking about Dubai, Nigeria, UK, US, which gives more returns?
Beautiful question. I mean, people will not believe this, but it's the truth. If you are looking at general numbers, how much did I buy versus how much has it appreciated? It's still Nigeria. Okay? However, for example, like I said, as much as Daddy Freeze is saying, hey, his house didn't appreciate as much as the wristwatch. If you had bought that same house in Banana Island, I'm sure he would tell you that, look, buy more. Okay? Because the way the value in Banana Island. You said?
They want me. Say you they want me. Is it my house in Banana Island?
You're on your way there. You're on your way there. Daddy Freeze, you're on your way there. You are building this empire. It's moving. The ministry is moving to the permanent side. So the truth is that it depends. Nigeria still gives the kind of highest. It's only in Nigeria that you can say you bought a property, for 450 million, and in 2 years it has appreciated to 1.2 billion. That won't happen in America, no matter the economic growth. You can only say, oh, I bought this property in let's say Houston, right, for X amount, and the value has increased by, let's say, 20% or 25%. But in Nigeria, you can even get 100% ROI in a matter of 1 or 2 years. Now, however, internationally, Dubai is the best in terms of ROI. Dubai gives you more return than UK or US for a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't pay tax. There's no income tax. There's no real estate tax in Dubai. So your rent is 100% your own. When you choose to sell the property in Dubai as well, it's 100% your own. And also when you come to capital appreciation, is really growing fast. Also, rental income, right now, the World Cup is actually happening in Dubai, even though it's happening in Doha. Canada and several other teams are lodged in Dubai. They fly down to play the game in Doha, come back to Dubai, because Doha religious rules are more stricter. Dubai allows you, in fact, Doha says you cannot drink alcohol in public. So they will have arrested that the freeze that was taking wine on this show if it was in Doha. But Dubai is more free. So Dubai right now is full. Rental income is crazy. Money, people who invested in real estate are just cashing out in a big way. So you get more returns in Dubai compared to UK or US. But it's also what you want to achieve. So I tell people, I say, London is where you buy property when you have made money and you just want to save it. Okay? Because even when there's recession, London, during 2008 crisis, was influenced by real estate. The property drop in London, in UK, particularly London, did not drop that much compared to the rest of the world, right? So London is like where you go to preserve your money, and real estate can be the vehicle you are preserving the money in. US is where you want to go when you are trying to play with leverage. Because in US that I only have, let's say, I'm just giving an example. Let's say I have $1 million and I can use that $1 million to access property worth $10 million. In some cases, I can even leverage to use that $1 million to access property worth 20 to 50 million. Now, in other parts of the world, you can't do that. So you go to US when you want to use leverage, when you want to use debt, to grow wealth and really expand so fast. And then, like I said, in developed worlds, you want to use Dubai. But generally, overall, Nigeria still gives you the highest ROI if you buy in the right place.
I want you to be clear. Where in Nigeria, not village, not please, Dr. Stephen, explain to them.
We've said that. I think we've flogged that very much. That
because
again.
Like people are coming, just came now saying, hey, "Oh, Nigeria is the best place to go and do real estate." Mama and Dubisi, land. I want build 11-bedroom mansion and suite. Yes. They say, "Oh, Stephen, now it's doctor. He knows it. That's where I should put my money." So, Dr. Stephen, explain them clearly. Let there not be any.
Well, you've heard that the freeze. That the freeze is an expert. That freeze just like to play humility. He's an expert in this thing.
Certain things. And one of my analysis, like you always said, is key location.
Yeah.
Master the art of location. Sometimes it's not location. Sometimes it's what's going to become a good location. That's speculative.
Yeah. Yes.
Dangote built refinery here. I know people that bought land 200,000 per plot, and land
I'm telling
plot. Those amounts made money that dollar cannot match.
Absolutely.
You see, what Dr. Stephen first said is, I want to correct all of that because Nigerians, they like yes and no answers. And religion, Dr. Stephen, I don't want us to go into religion because that's another level. Religion taught us good.
You have not invited me for this our religious debate. I'm still waiting.
Religion teaches us good or it's not good, it is evil. There is nowhere in between good and evil. And I like to explain things to people. Smoking cigarettes, for instance, is not good and it is not evil. The Bible does not say don't smoke. But you now have to consider your neighbor. Is my cigarette. So me smoking a cigarette in the middle of a field, not affecting anybody's life, is not as much as an issue. It doesn't mean I will not make heaven. It doesn't mean I'm a sinner because I'm smoking cigarettes. But you see, that yes or no, they want it. Dr. Stephen, land or watch, which one is better? They want you to choose one. They want you to choose one. Because as far as they are concerned, land is land. Listen, land in Oluyole in Ibadan, land in Maitama, land in Asokoro, and land in Banana Island are not the same.
At all. At all.
To you, there are some land, instead of buying them, go and buy watch. And there are some lands, instead of buying watch, if I had the opportunity to buy land in Banana Island today, I will not be thinking of watch.
But you also have to clarify what type of watch. It's not like they should go to Alaba and you also have to clarify this watch matter.
God bless Doctor. It still boils down to a yes and no. Watch is good. Most people, they hear watch, they go and buy Rolex that has diamond. But listen, what makes a watch valuable? Let me break this down to you, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah.
Pure gold. President. Date. I was wearing one yesterday. Will cost you about $60,000. Patek Philippe. Stainless steel. Will cost $70,000. More than the pure gold Rolex. This one is stainless steel. Richard Mille. Carbon. Made out of carbon will cost you $200,000, $250,000, $300,000. So when you are going into watches, it's not the material, it's not the diamond, it's not the gold. It is how many were produced.
It has to be a collectible watch.
Yeah, God bless you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm telling them of we had church in the UK. I wish you were around. I've joined our service in the UK. So after this, so people came and, because that was around the time I was trending over this watch house debate. And one guy said, Daddy Freeze, you were talking about Rolex Daytona. One guy said he has been on the queue for 2 years. Another guy said he has been on the queue for 4 years to get the watch.
Wow.
The watch retails for $10,000. The moment you get your allocation and they give you the watch, you can sell it for $30,000. Like this. People are waiting. Because people that are on the queue, you are not sure they'll produce for you.
Wow.
I have a friend that walked into Ferrari dealership to buy F8. They gave him a 2025 production date. Ferrari has stopped. F8 is now old model. They have not given him his own. No. So, and they were telling him, they said, listen, Baba, don't go and join this queue. Pay somebody on the queue. There are people that their work is to queue. They don't need queue. Yes,
Lord.
$1.
So
these are that people don't understand. This car, the moment you buy a car, it loses its value. There are some people, they are on all the queues for all the top cars.
Yeah.
Once you have a May next year delivery for a new car, somebody will come and meet you and say, let me buy your spot. Enter negotiation. So these things don't understand. People like yes or no. And Dr. Stephen is here to tell you the first thing he ever told you on my show. Understand what investment is. If you don't know what investment is, you will come and lock my shirt and say, Daddy Freeze made me lose my money. Daddy Freeze said I should go and buy a watch. Did you actually ask?
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Stephen, they will see you at the airport and hold your trousers. Dr. Stephen, you told me to buy land. Ask.
Yeah.
He is here to offer you education more. Listen, Dr. Stephen, I have 1 million naira. Invest for me. It's not as important as Dr. Stephen. How much is your next lecture I want to attend? Attend the lecture. Gain gain the knowledge
Absolutely.
on your risk factors, the
Yeah.
availability of your cash. Consider all the parameters that he's going to furnish you with. He's going to give you folder and file that you will take home in the middle of the night while you are sipping coffee. Do it. Then you can now say, Dr. Stephen, instead of $100,000, I want to invest 300. Or Dr. Stephen, instead of I actually want to invest only 20 because I've looked at my this, that. So and investment is very key. Stop looking for yes and no. I'll give you an example. My Mercedes, when I bought it, my neighbor was selling house. The house and the Mercedes were about the same. Today, Mercedes is dollars. The Mercedes is more expensive cars. I appreciated the house. Now, Nigeria is not always going to be like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was a time when the naira was stable to the dollar. It was not 1 to 1.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll give you an example. Somebody told me that Daddy Freeze, you people are making money, you'll be earning $10,000. $10,000 looks like a lot of money. When I used to MC those days in 2006, when dollar was 1, I used to charge ₦1 million. So I used to charge like $1,000. If you convert it to $7,000 today, that dollar is actually not so much, but it's because the naira is so poor.
Absolutely.
So while you are considering, Nigeria can either 2 things or 3 things: remain the same, get worse, get better. And are the things Dr. Stephen is going to teach you about. Land is also medium risk. It's not completely risk-free. Dr. throw light on risk factors in regarding landed property. Just a quick question for 30 seconds so that they can understand.
Beautiful. So I always put real estate as a mid-risk investment. They're high risk, high risk involve crypto, forex, and so on. Real estate falls under mid-risk. Depends on which one and how you're doing it. In fact, if you deal with flipping in real estate, you're already falling under high risk, because you could go. The concept of flipping is time. So I see this property is below the market price. I buy it, I refurbish it, I put it back. Now, if I buy it and the market is high, and between the time I refurbish it and I put it back, market has dipped. Do you see now? One, the value will be low. I will spend longer time to even sell it. And that just even put that class of real estate into high risk. But when it comes to landed property, there are risks as well. And this is why, again, we keep saying knowledge, mentorship, and even when it comes to mentorship, unfortunately, gossip is how, we Africans, thrive. I've said this, I've met several billionaires in my life. I'm yet to meet one billionaire that's a gossiper. You cannot build wealth in gossip. And how do we gossip? You want to buy land, and let's say you're in the US. You call your cousin that is in Ibejuleki, who is a tenant. I say, hey, I even get one company. They said they get land for Ibejuleki. I'm thinking of buying. That is the most foolish decision to make. First of all, that person has not gotten result. Always get advice from people who have results in the area they are teaching you. And it's one of my rules in life. You cannot advise me, okay? Except you are richer, when it comes to subject of money, except you are richer than I do. I had to sack all my money advisors when I realized I became richer than them. And today I have just few, business and investment mentors in Nigeria. Most of them are not Nigerians, because I'm only dealing with people who have wealth in billions of dollars now. And unfortunately, people don't do that. You are getting advice from people who are not richer, even up to you. And so their foolishness rub off on you, and you take decisions, from people who, Yoruba will say, so before you go and, before you go and take advice on property, how many property does this person even have that is trying to advise me? right? How many land has this person invested in? Okay, before I would now say what he or she is teaching me is making sense, I'm going to act on it or I will not act on it. So for me, that is very, very critical. But ultimately, like we're teaching today, you cannot joke with real estate investment. In fact, let me shock you guys. I am investing right now more in Nigeria and in landed property because my own forecast is this. The number one driver of real estate value is population growth. So economic, even when we risk economy of Nigeria doing well or not, as long as the population of Nigeria continues to grow, real estate will keep going higher. I was born in Maiduguri. I'll give you a very shocking experience. I was born in Maiduguri. And, we had to live in a place almost like a village. It was still part of Maiduguri, but no running water, no electricity, nothing. And I remember when we left Maiduguri, in the 90s, late 90s, my parents had to sell the property. And I went back there 3 years ago, 2019, to do some charity work in Gubiyo IDP camp, to do some donations. And I had to, drive past where we used to. Do you know where I call village already developed? Despite Boko Haram war. Do you know the value of that same property is higher than when we sold it, despite the Boko Haram issues? Because what has happened is that many people had moved from the village part of, Borno State, moved to Maiduguri. So population growth, even in the Boko Haram war, was growing in Maiduguri, despite the issues. So once there's population growth, there will always be growth in real estate. The value of the real estate will keep going higher as long as there's population growth. That's why even here in Dubai, once there is what we just finished in Dubai was, what's it called now? What did we finish in October, March this year? There's a word for, I can't remember, that they were doing in Dubai, that just ended. That brought so many people to Dubai. Expo 2020, right? That was pushed to Expo 2022. That became the major driver. Properties that used to go for 150,000 in Dubai moved to 250,000 just because of Expo 2020. Now, because of the World Cup again, that has happened in Doha and the distance between Doha and Dubai, most people are just lodging in Dubai to then travel to Doha and come back. Value of real estate has gone up. So major driver, aside the economic factors, is population growth. So I am even analyzing that right now, most landed property in Nigeria is underpriced. But after 2023 election, God willing, a more pro-business president comes on board, the value of real estate will jump up, even in Nigeria. That's my own prediction. And that's why we are launching more estates, we're buying more properties in Nigeria. Again, it's a risk. But, some of us have done this for a while, and we've built wealth in it. So we understand how to manage our risk and do our analysis.
Awesome. Let me ask another question. How do I get the best location in terms of rental value?
Beautiful. So in terms of rental value, you want to look at the real estate life cycle of the location. And that's very, very important. Ikoyi, for example, you look at it, Ikoyi is old money. But, and so you want to ask yourself, what will happen to Ikoyi? VI. There was a time almost everybody started living VI. Okay? So you must understand what we call the real estate life cycle and understand the population growth in that area. And understand even the age range of the people in that particular location. Right now, because of the way Lekki is built, Lekki might be the island slum, okay, in the next 50 years. Yes, the same Lekki phase 1, Lekki phase 2. Particularly because a good portion of Lekki phase 1 and phase 2 wasn't well built. Poor drainage, no running water, everybody's having to kind of do that. It's the same problem Banana Island also have. Every house in Banana Island is having to use a treatment, because the water is bad. right? And so because of the poor planning, is affecting that particular location. And this is one of the ways you analyze real estate. So you're asking yourself, where are the areas that are getting better planning, that is being well laid out, there's proper infrastructure, there's proper, and this is one of the advantage a good part of Ikeja still has to tomorrow, because Jakonde, you know, one of the things Lateef Jakonde did then, because he was trying to move the workers. And this is what people don't even know about real estate. Do you know in the 70s, places like Opebi used to be ritual killers then? Like you run in the 60s when you are passing Opebi. It's thick forest. That's why they put the airport in Ikeja. So a lot of civil servants were even sharing with me, older ones in their 80s, that when Jakonde was moving them to say, okay, come and stay in in Alausa, where we have MQ Abiola Garden, all those places, when he was building those places, he was begging them to come and say, he will be the one, it's the governor himself that will go and be living there. I know a professor who shared with me how they offered him 9 acres in Surulere, and he said, God forbid. You know what? And this was 50 years ago. Baba is 87 now. He said, God forbid, because as at that time, Surulere was thick forest, and they offered him almost on the platter of gold 9 acres. Baba said, "Allah Maje." So hear this: the bush of today is the city of tomorrow. Because we have something we call, you know, absolute sense, right, in real estate. So sometimes certain location, over time, the houses get old. A lot of the functionality, even the socket is old socket. You know how some houses now, when you go there, they are like old designs. And Gen Zs, millennials have a way. They don't want all those big houses they used to do in those days. So suddenly people are now more interested in new designs, new buildings. And so you have to be thinking of, where is building going into? Where are the new cities coming up? Okay, where is closer proximity to the city center that will keep appreciating and growing? These are parameters that you use to analyze right location, where to buy, how to buy, and things like that. I think for me, the new estates, the fact that what Jakonde was doing has now been commercialized. So you are now having many of us building estates. Our estates are even better planned. Look at this place called Nikon. In the whole of that Lekki phase 1, phase 2 now, you know, Nikon is one of the best estates you will find. You know, it has like two fence. I think that's where, you know, I think a lot of celebrity lives in Nikon as well. Good drainage. No matter how the rain, the thing will dry up in no time. It was developed by Chevron. It was owned by Chevron Cooperative, and they got PW to do the infrastructure, right? So in the future, the key thing is developed estates. And you want to look at who are the developers, what are the infrastructure they are putting there, because that's what the time. Look at also in Aja, VGC is still one of the well-planned area. If I tell you the story of VGC, you will not believe it that it freeze. It was a Jewish man who did a lot of the sampling for, you know, a lot of the Ikoyi buildings, Dolphin Estate for Lagos State government. His balance was, you know, was dragging. So he went to Lagos State to say, give me land. So they said, is it land? After the toll gate, pick anywhere, we'll give you. The man now went to pick where VGC is today. Do you know the Alausa official that he took there said to him that they said Jewish people are wise. That this one he said is not correct. That in fact, the idea you say you want, you can expand the land, take more. But they failed to, because the place was marshy. But they forgot that the man had dredging equipment. Right? The man built a solid estate that today is one of the best drainage that you have on the island. Proper drainage structure, and the value is good today as well. So that's how real estate works. I'm going to stop here.
All right, all right. For balance, there's one thing I'm trying to teach now, and it is called balance. And I remember the teaching of the church when we were growing up was, alcohol is sinful, don't drink. If you drink, you're going to go to hellfire. And then Daddy Freeze, after reading Bible and studying Jewish society and antiquities of the Jews, wine is part of the Jewish culture, alcoholic wine, and Christ drank wine. So me, I'm like, don't listen to them or drink wine. And this was going on until one pastor came and said, you know what? Let's have a balance. Christ drank wine. He drank a little.
He didn't get drunk. There was no record that he was drunk.
So you need to now preach a balance, and that's when I realized that even my message was drink, church message was don't drink. So I have a midpoint, and the pastor went to the damaging effects of alcohol on your liver, on the damaging effect of alcohol with regards to drink driving and how many lives are lost every year. But at the same time, alcohol is not bad.
Absolutely.
How do you find that balance? And why am I saying this? Because you have told many great, amazing stories of how people bought swamps and it became, what is it called? Lovely areas. But I remember Teju Babyface, the comedian, he spoke of his dad. He said his dad went into an area, and I forgot what area it is, and the area was developing then, and his father felt this is the developing area, and he built his house there, and the area turned into a ghetto. So he ended up having a quatesi inside the ghetto. So let's also have a balance with regards to that. My dad has places in places that developed and places that didn't develop.
So my argument about balance is this, and I think those of us who are, who are investors, entrepreneurs, will tell you this. And you see, those you call wealthy is only a reward for the risk they took yesterday. Any man you see today, that you say the man is rich, right? That wealth you are talking about is only a reward for the risk he took, right? When I came to Dubai and started investing and doing all of that, it was a lot. It cost us millions to set up. I'm still in our Dubai office. It cost us millions to set up in Dubai. And guess what? They now ban Nigerians. Okay? If not that my business structure has passed the test of universality, that I'm not just relying on Nigerians to patronize me, I'll be in trouble choosing to come to expand to Dubai. So business or investment is risk. Risk is risk any day, anytime. But you must understand that if you also don't take risk, you have also taken a bigger risk. And this is why we keep saying mentorship, mentorship, mentorship. Why some of us today, right, we will spend, I remember the day I went to meet Grant Cardone in Florida. I flew business class, lodged myself in a hotel, paid thousands of dollars for his event, right? With the risk of not even meeting him. Of course, I finally was lucky to meet him. Okay, that was risk. That's literally burning almost $50,000 to see one man. He's not God, but what that one man knows, right? If I can only catch a glimpse and execute it, I will also replicate the level of success he has. And that's, so we must, and I think I need people like Daddy Freeze to keep preaching this to Africans. We have teach so much fear. People are so fearful, which is why poverty continues in our part of the world. This is part of the reason we are not scientists. Because isn't it shocking that Dubai is less than 10 million in population? They already have sent people to moon. They already have their own design satellites. Okay? The whole of 54 countries in Africa, we are yet to do our own satellite and do all of that mission to this. That is our own scientists. I mean, different African countries have satellite now, but that it was Africans, right, that are involved in the whole development. We don't do that because we keep teaching. Be careful, or even the religion. I don't want trouble. I don't want problem. Listen. Every problem has a money equivalent. The money is in the problem. Okay? The money, every problem has money embedded. As long as you can settle down and think of the solution. So yes, it's not every property you will buy that will appreciate. Yes, there's risk in doing real estate. Yes, you can buy a property and even lose it. We have had, I've shared it the last time I came, that the time I now made up my mind that all die and I die was when we lost 120 million in real estate in 1 year. At that point, I said, oh, at this point, there's nothing to be scared of anymore. Because I will just have thrown away all that money if I give up in this sector. And I went deep in, got more mentors, and today the story has changed. So for me, is we must preach the culture that people must understand that for every investment, there's a chance you will lose money. And that you've lost money does not mean you're a fool. Learn from it, move to the next phase. Pick the lessons. A lot of you now who are watching this have lost money in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It's not the end of the world. And that's part of what we were telling you then too, when the thing was doing well. And I love what Free is saying about balance. That because the Bitcoin was doing well that time, it was not wisdom to put all your money in Bitcoin. You needed to keep withdrawing some of your profits and put it into something. Okay? And that is tangible. And I tell people, I say, why do I love real estate? You say the market don't crash. You say one thing don't happen. Oga, I feel touch my land. Worst case, I go farm on top of her. Abi, if I buy house, price crash or price did not crash, I can start living in it. I can rent it. The rent may not be much, but it is tangible. Unlike I buy something and boom, the whole thing has disappeared. I can't even touch anything. Okay? So that would be my own conversation around the balance.
Okay. Another question I have, I'm enjoying this session so much, so we'll end up being here for a long time. In buying houses, what do you advise?
Yeah.
Already built or off plan?
Well, it's neither here nor there. My advice is if you have all the money, just go and buy already built, because you get your keys. You can immediately, particularly if you are using it for investment, you can immediately rent it out and start getting cash flow. We have, hundreds of houses here that we manage and we own as well here in Dubai, that every month tenants are paying money and the owners are getting returns. Okay? But the truth remains that it's not in all cases that you have all the money. And sometimes a property goes for $350,000. All you have in your account as of today is maybe $70,000. The good news is that if you decide to go for off plan, right, that $70,000 is enough as a deposit. And then you now spread the rest. Every month you are paying, certain percentage. Like we have a new project GTEX is running where we are doing our ultimate goal in the next 13 years is to build 25,000 houses in Nigeria, not just Lagos. And we are launching the first off plan, which is 1,000 housing unit, okay, that we're going to be selling. We're hoping between now and December, we've gotten enough subscribers. You deposit just 5 million deposit. You spread the rest in 3 years. We'll start construction in March. And hopefully, of course, in 3 years, people start getting their keys. Now, that gives you an opportunity where every month you're only paying 4% of the value of the land. Now, what will have happened is that by the end of that 3 years, okay, the value of that property in 3 years will have almost doubled. Meanwhile, remember, you didn't pay all the money at once. So even while you are paying gradually, the value is appreciating. We have some of my investors here in Dubai who bought some properties here from us. 2-bedroom, them they got it for around $250,000. As I speak to you, the value has already increased to $350,000 even before completion. Yeah, you know, and they've not even finished paying. They are just paying small, gradually. So even the 250,000, they've not even finished paying up to 150, and they've almost gotten value in that. We have a property we're marketing. I'm not sure if we have any unit left in Southeast London. Now, if you are buying already completed, you know, units in that place, you get it for as high as, you know, about $550,000. But this particular off-plan we're selling is going for $450,000, because between $400,000 and $450,000, based on how much you want to pay, because it's off-plan. So you're already getting as much as almost £100,000, okay, that you are saving because you are going for an off-plan. Of course, there's also risk, as Daddy Freeze is always saying, warning. So you must be sure you are dealing with a credible developer, that your funds are safe, they are going to meet up with their targets and things like that. So very important that you also do this with trusted people. But yes, off-plan is all good if you don't have all your funds and you are targeting investment, you are looking at capital appreciation, absolutely. But if you have all the money, go buy ready-made in a good location and rent it out.
All right. It's been so wonderful. For off-plan sales, how the property appreciates when it's not completed yet. That's a worry. A lot of us bought offline, what is it called? Off-plan. Off-plan means when I was buying a house off-plan, they just took me to a bush and said, that's the land. Then they showed me a house, everything was fine. I said, where's the house? I said, no, it's there. So how do your properties appreciate even when they're not completed? And what happens if someone starts an off-plan payment and can't complete it?
Beautiful question. So there's something we call the Ricardo law of economics, postulated by, David Ricardo. And it says that the price of corn is not high because rent is paid, but rent is paid because the price of corn is high. And what he's trying to teach there is that in the game of real estate, it is not the house that appreciates, it's the land. It's the land that appreciates it, and it's the value people tend to derive in a particular location that makes the value of that land to also rise. So I give you an example, Banana Island. Why is Banana Island appreciating so fast? Number one, the land is scarce already from day one. So they're having to dredge, and the cost of dredging is so expensive. Number two, Adenuga lives there. Virtually all the rich people in the world lives there. So just that prestige that you can say, I live with Davido, with Dangote, with all of that, and the caliber of people that are your neighbor, and the business transactions that can start going on, has made more people to be willing to pay more for Banana Island. It's the customers that is willing to pay more. So technically, landlords do not determine the price of rent by this law. It is the tenant that determines the price of rent, because it is what they think they stand to get in that location. What opportunities? So why is everybody shouting Bejuleki? There's a whole largest refinery in Africa there. Seaport is there. Free trade zone. There will be jobs. You see now, there will be contracts. And of course, those companies also now need to employ more people. So people are moving there. People are moving there. As people are going, they are willing to pay more. Whether it's fully developable or it's underdeveloped, more people are coming. So that is how the value appreciates. So the value in this case is appreciated because it is the land that is appreciated. And we have been in this for years. We choose good choice locations to build our houses that we know that the value is going up even before the houses are completed. Okay, the second part of your question is, what's the second part of your question?
The second part of the question is, what happens if someone is paying for an off-plan project
and couldn't complete? Yeah, so the good news with housing of this nature is also, once you've hit up to 30%, we have mortgage companies we've partnered with who can take over that, pay us the balance, and agree with you to give you another 15 years to spread the balance. Of course, they will take like 10 to 15% of the value, but they will now start paying. That way you don't lose the entire thing. And they now give you a more flexible payment. And you even now get your keys and start living there. And you are now paying the mortgage bank gradually till you're done paying. And that's also another beautiful, and that's part of the advantage of a house compared to a land. A lot of times if you are paying for a land and you fail to finish it, there's no mortgage company that really handles land. But when it comes to housing, there's that mortgage opportunity. And once you've hit up to 30%, you can apply for mortgage.
Absolutely wonderful, Dr. Stephen. I've heard you say that there's nothing like affordable housing. But how can affordable for Nigerians?
Beautiful question. So globally, houses are not affordable, and it's a global thing. What governments always do time to time is to come up with concepts that they can use to make it easy. So UK, for example, realized that in London and some other parts of the UK, people are not able to afford houses. Houses are expensive in London. London has lasted over 900 years, and the city just won't give up, right? And is doing very well. So what did the government decide to do? They came up with what we call first-time buyer scheme, where normally for you to access mortgage, you need 20% if you're a British resident. Now they've said, you know what, government will pay 10%. You bring 10%, then you can get a lender to pay the 80%. So now, instead of looking for 20% to even get a house, your first house, with 10%, you can even get one. So all over the world, it has been government and banks that have ultimately made houses affordable. And I'll give you an example. A typical, 5-bedroom in Nigeria is probably going for, if you are doing island now, let's say Lekki phase 1, phase 2, it's probably going for as high as 450 million. Now, it looks a lot of money, depending on which area. It looks like a big money, that amount. But in reality, that same 450 million is what you will use to buy 3-bedroom in certain posh neighborhood in Dallas, Texas. 3-bedroom. Okay? But the difference is that in Dallas, all you need to bring is 20%, and you have 30 years to pay the rest. Right? In Nigeria, you have to bring the whole thing. So it's not even as if, even with the current prices, houses are more expensive in Nigeria than in developed countries. No, it's just that in reality is that they've made it possible for you to pay gradually. So what GTEx has decided to do is to create a scheme where you pay just 4% every month for 3 years. And like we said, once you hit 30%, you can't even do the 3 years. You can apply for mortgage and even spread it for 10 to 15 years. And that way, we are now making it affordable. And I won't call it affordable, I'll call it accessible. Because ultimately, what you should be looking for is, how can I be able to access owning a house even if I don't have all the money in this world? And is that accessibility that is the job of government? What governments do all over the world is create what we call equalizer between the rich and the poor. So, for example, yes, you, the rich, may have a Ferrari. In Dubai, you have this, you have that. But what do? They create a metro line and make it so neat that sometimes when you consider the traffic, right, of driving your Ferrari, in Sheikh Zayed Road, you just say, you know what, let me take metro. Metro is faster. So suddenly, rich and poor are both taking the same train. That's the job of government, to always create something that creates some kind of accessibility for even people who don't have certain type of income, and almost create some kind of balance. But we pray governments will get better. We pray we elect credible and sensible and creative leaders in the next election. And that's why we're all saying, everybody shine your eye and vote right. But in the meantime, companies like ours, we're private companies, we are doing our best to make houses affordable, accessible. And our 1,000 housing units, which is off plan, is the beginning of that. Our goal is that in the next 13 years, like we said, we're doing 25,000 residential houses for Nigerians. As currently we have several houses in different locations, but those ones are outright. They're already fully built. You pay your money, you get your key. But this one is now to create something accessible, something you can pay small, and hopefully a lot of people key into it.
Absolutely wonderful. What if I'm interested, Dr. Stephen, in investing into real estate, but do not want to buy land or a house? How can I make my money work for me and get steady and fixed returns, despite not wanting to actually do the work of being inside the real estate go-go?
Beautiful question. So one of the good concept we have is something called fractional real estate investment, where you are able to own a fraction of the investments that we're doing. And as we go ahead to sell those properties, you get a piece of the pie. And this is called real estate investment trust. It's a concept done very well in developed world, particularly in America. So you go meet a real estate company and you say to them, oh, I have 10 million naira. I don't want to own the property and then the government is asking me to pay tax. I don't want to own the property and then I'm looking for who will rent it and all of that. Plus what I even have is not enough to pay for a whole full property. But you are doing all of that. Go ahead and do that. And I want to be getting regular ROI. It's a model where you are making money work for you without necessarily doing all the daily work. And that is something we call GVEST, GVEST. You can download the mobile app or just go to gvestcooperativesociety.com. So we created a cooperative society where people now come together, pool funds together, and we're able to use those funds to keep expanding our real estate assets all over the world. And we share money together. And we have several people all over the world who have invested with us, and they've gotten good returns. And that's why people like us can come on shows like this, because we know that it's not as if somebody will come and say, well, I invested money and they didn't give me my returns. So we're happy that we have dealt with integrity with people all over these years. And it's a paid off, because for me, integrity is very critical. It doesn't mean that everybody will be happy with you. I mean, if you have, 90% happy customers, you have tried. I mean, there are people who, for one reason or the other, won't be happy, right? But that's normal. But once you are dealing with integrity, which is what is our watchword, you can go to bed and close your eyes.
All right. I've worn you out. I asked too many questions. Trust me, Dr. Stephen. We asked you questions. You will be tired. One more question. If I'm interested in what I've learned, I need to put it into practice. How do I get mentored? How do I get guided? How do I get led regarding matters of good investment? Final question. Don't be tired. I know if you leave me asking questions till nightfall and daybreak.
Okay, I think Esther says I should stop touching my nose. Esther is my nose. I like the nose, and right, it's a billionaire nose, and it's my nose. So leave me with my nose and let me touch it, okay? So Everybody has mannerism, right? And mine is I often touch my nose, and I like the nose. Okay, so leave me with my nose. But let me get to your question, Daddy Freeze. So my answer to that is mentorship. There are two ways to get mentorship. You either pay or you serve, right? And in my own case, I charge good money to mentor people because, as you all know, and as you can sense, this knowledge I know did not come from, I wasn't born with it. I paid good money, okay, with those who are ahead of me to learn from them, to also have them teach me what has worked for them. Okay, and for me, that is the model that I've used over time. And for me, I charge for mentorship. However, what I can do today is that for some of you who can reach out to my team, people have mentored myself. Okay, they will be able to guide you and not charge you a dime. So I'm going to drop a number now. You can reach out to them and let them know from me. These are, like I said, are people I taught myself. And just be, I want to go into real estate, be as transparent as you can regarding what you want to do. If that is free, can help me pin that number. Just let them know what you can afford and what you're trying to do, and they will guide you, particularly with the options that we have in our company. But if you want to come to me directly and you want mentorship, no problem, I do that, but I charge. And it ranges, I have different packages. But the one-on-one coaching at the moment is $20,000, right? So, but we have some lesser ones. You can send me a DM if you want direct mentorship with me. But I will advise you reach out to our team because they won't charge you a dime. And they will be able to guide you on how to go about building wealth for yourself through the real estate project. Okay, Daddy Freeze, that's my take before they say I'm touching my nose too much.
No, man. Yeah. You have lived in right long. Everything for you is now dirham. All right, guys. The number is +4 8188 111 999. Take the number again. +234 8188 111 999. That's the number Dr. Stephen Akintayo is talking about. +234 8188 111 999. Thank you so much.
So Dr. the good news, the good news is that they can also send WhatsApp message to that number, particularly for those who are not in Nigeria. And the team available 247, 1 a.m., 3 a.m. Nigerian time. There are people to attend to you. We operate 247 operations on that line. So there are enough people to attend to you. Okay. Thank you, Daddy Freeze.
All right.
It's nice chatting with you. I hope you will send me some of this watch that you are buying that is giving you more money than real estate. I beg.
In exchange for a house in Banana Island. Sorry, Dubai. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Hope you had fun. Take care. God bless. And remember, mentorship is key in any form of investment. It's more important than the investment. And secondly, there's no yes or no in investment. Managing your risks will be taught to you by your mentor. You will watch him manage his own and learn, and he will advise you on how to manage your own so you learn. Keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Follow Dr. Stephen Akintayo at Akintayo if you have any more questions. And don't forget the WhatsApp and the number you can call is +234 8188 111 999. 8188 111 999. 8188 111 999. You can't forget it. Make sure you get that. Take care, Dr. Stephen. Take care and God.
Bye bye. Love you.